sorry, the last video just cut out, and I didn't get a chance to do the last problem I want to do. So this is 2 videos. Sorry, this one I'm going to go through quickly. All right, but it says find the value of x and find the value of y. So when we first look here, I see I have 2 x's. I have an x here, it is 2x minus 4, and I have an x here, it's 6y plus x. So when I go ahead and solve this, I'm not going to choose this 6y plus x because there's a y involved. So I'm only going to choose this 2x minus 4 because it's going to give me just an x by itself. All right, so now I need to look. This is QR. So I need to look and see, well, where does QR correspond with? Well, QR was a third and fourth, so it corresponds with third and fourth FG. So FG here is equal to 12. So I can then say, well, FG, segment FG is congruent to segment QR. And now I can go ahead and substitute in that 12 is equal to 2x minus 4. And I can solve for x. I can add 4. And 2x is then equal to 16. Divide by 2. And x is equal to 8. Nice and easy. All right, now for number B, it says find the value of y. Well, y, I'm sorry, only has one case that shows up, and that's with this angle Q. So then we need to look and say, well, Q is a third angle here. It corresponds with the third angle F. So that means that this angle is congruent to this angle. So I can then set them equal to each other. So angle Q is congruent to angle F. And now I can substitute in. So 6y plus x is equal to 68 degrees. Now, in this case, we had 2 variables, but we just solved for x. We know it's equal to 8, so I can substitute that in. So that will then give me 6y plus 8 is equal to 68. Now I just solve for y. I'll subtract 8 from both sides. So 6y is then equal to 60. Divide each side by 6. So that means y is then equal to 10. All right, so it's actually not hard. It's just you have to be able to read this congruency statement of DEFG is congruent to SPQR. Once you can read this, you can identify what is congruent to what and solve for any of the cases that you want. All right, there's one more thing that we need to discuss, and that's it for this video. All right, if you look here, something's wrong with my screen right now. For some reason, the last few things I wrote, it's stuck on this notepad, so I was trying to wait it out. It's not changing, so the last thing I'm just going to discuss, you're just going to deal with those lines and circles there. But the last thing is just these three properties. So if for any triangle, so the reflexive property, any triangle is congruent to itself. So if we have the same triangle, we can always say triangle ABC is congruent to itself. That's a reflexive property. The symmetric property is that if triangle ABC is congruent to DEF, we can switch their position and put triangle DEF as congruent to ABC, triangle ABC. So it doesn't have to be that the first one must be written first every single time. And then the last thing, the transitive property, is that if 2 triangles are congruent to each other, so triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF, and then that one of those 2 triangles is congruent to another, so in this case, triangle DEF is congruent to triangle JKL, then that means that this ABC must also be congruent, and all 3 of them are congruent to each other. All right, that is it for this video, and it for this section.